Hey guys, and I'm going to be reviewing Ark. Okay, now let's jump into it. Number 1. This game is so good. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Just the base concept of it. But anyway, I love the fact that you can have this game so diversely. You can play it any way. You can play it by yourself, PvP, PvE, by yourself, PvE, by yourself. Play with your friends on your own little private thing, PvP style. You can do it you can change the stats. You can change a lot of things. Well, you can't change that much if you don't pay for a server, but you have to pay for, it's like a website. You have to pay for the domain to have a server. And however much you put into it is how much you're going to get out. So, most of the official servers, they can be kind of laggy. And most of the game can be really laggy, but more on that later. I really love the maps in this game. Like Extinction, there's 5 maps actually. There's 5 DLC maps. One of them's free, and another free DLC's coming. So there's Ragnarok, there's Aberration, Extinction, and Genesis, and Scorched Earth. And then there's Island. You get 3 free ones at the start. You get Ragnarok, Island, and Center. These maps are very high quality. They're just pretty good. These came out, they had intention to make this game. So this one came out as the game came out. So Ragnarok is just Scorched Earth, but not as hard. Okay, so Scorched Earth is basically just a map filter. So if you want to make the game more brutal, like the harsh weather climates, the harsh weather, that's the only reason why you'd want to play Scorched Earth. Because everything else is on Rag. I personally, now knowing this, I wouldn't buy Scorched Earth. But that's my opinion. I do like the fact that Aberration, the gameplay that you're seeing in the background, is that there's so much, it was a breath of fresh air to this game, because most of it's, flying because one of the biggest things in this game is flyers, so you have to have a flyer in order to succeed. Aberration doesn't have flyers. You can't get them. And that's one of my favorite parts about this game, is that it limits you. This map, it limits the player. It makes the game more challenging. It makes you experience the game in a different way. Because most of the traveling would just be flying around on a Pterodon or a Argentavis or something like that. But on Aberration, you have to think of different ways, like the Rock Drake. That's probably the closest thing you'll get to a flyer on this map. You can glide. That's it. And you can kind of dash, like you just saw. But I think that this game is so good on Aberration. Aberration is probably my favorite map because it just limits the player. Not to an annoying extent, but just enough so that it surprises you. Makes you think outside of the box and try to get to where you need to go. And that's the big thing. Thinking outside the box. You have a lot of options that you can do to do anything, actually. You can gather resources with your tools, or you could use creatures to do it, like a Doedic or an Anki. You could either take a beaver and get the wood, or you could just chop wood normally. There's a lot more efficient ways to use dinos than you would ever expect. You either use you could either use a scuba gear, or you could use something like a tech thing. You can do a lot of things with this game, and that's what I love about it. That's kind of the part where it's there's so much to talk about. I can't talk about it in a 10-minute review, but you can explore a lot. So, number 2, there's not really a story like most open world games. If there was a story, it would ruin its open world feel, like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, one of my favorite games, just like Ark. because I'm really into open worlds, and I know that stories don't come big with open world genres that much. So yeah, don't expect any like groundbreaking story. There is a kind of a story in the background. I won't spoil it just in case if you really guys want to hear it, but it does get kind of interesting. There's videos online that like explain the entire story. I've actually watched them. They're actually pretty interesting. So if you want to watch those, you can just go find them on the internet. They're not really hard to come by. But anyway, it's not that big of a story. It's like explorer notes, which are like these things that you can like read if you find them. And they give you an extra boost of XP, so there's an incentive. But yeah. 2, the PvP. Oh, this is the game's bread and butter. Oh, I think this is the way the game was meant to be played, because this game is so good PvP. Like, it's so much fun to PvP with people, because you don't have to do anything other than just kill that guy. It's so much fun, and it's always the better player wins. It's always the better player wins. There's no randomness to this. It's always, you can like, so like when you're trying to raid a base, you could choose how to approach it. You can choose when to approach it. You can choose where you want to enter in, where you want to exit in. And turrets play a big role because you have to reload them. And that's, like, you, in a bunch of games that are like tower defense, you don't have to like reload the turrets and make sure you keep on having ammo in them. I bet I'm going to be sounding really stupid, and I'm going to think about a million games that don't have to do that, or everyone's going to know a million games that don't do that. But I know that this game focuses a lot on being, like, how they would actually, like, how these things would work. Like, you can, like, hide behind a rock and it won't shoot you through the rock. You can hide behind, like, a dead body and it won't see you. One of the coolest things that I like to do is I like to go down, have, like, a dead body of a sheep. Okay, don't this game is mature. Is it T? I don't know. I don't think it's mature. I think it's just teens. But there are dead bodies. Okay. Anyway, I think that this game has an amazing PvP system, amazing raiding, amazing base building system. You have tons of tools to make your base. Tons of amazing spots to build your base, because that's another really big one, but I can't go too in detail, because I don't want to make a 20-minute review. But yeah. So, lastly, this is where I have my beef. Oh my god, wild card. Why did you make your online? No, why did you just make your game so laggy? Like, oh my god, if there was one thing, like if a genie popped up, like boom, and I said, and they were like, what do you want? I'm like, make Ark good. Make it so that Ark doesn't lag, because there's constant lags, stop frame drops, and like freezes. I always say lagging away in my Lagcraft world. A lot, actually. The person I'm playing, I'm pretty sure I sang that song during this clip. I'm actually pretty sure I sang that song during this clip. But because there's so much lag, it's the only thing I don't like about the game. And the bug fixes. The developers just aren't willing to try to get it. And the online is such a big part of the game. It really hurts it, because that's when all good players mostly win. You can sometimes lag into a bad spot. So like if you're trying to get into a turret, you could lag and then just get pelted by turrets and die. That's the only time when it feels unfair, is when it lags. Everything else is amazing. I love everything else about this game. If they released an Ark 2 with fixed lag, and I checked some reviews on it saying there was no lag, oh yeah, I'd spend every dollar I had on it. Because it's just that big of an issue. It's just not This is so critical. It's such an annoying thing to happen in a game like this, and it's so important. And this game is it just makes me, it's just infuriating how laggy this game is sometimes. It's just, like, come on, Wildcard, please fix this. Everyone, go to Wildcard's Twitter and tell them, hashtag fix the lag. Let's make it a trend, everybody. I'm making a Twitter soon. Anyway, I'm going to be recording Ark soon, and yes, I did switch my mic up to Apex Legends because I ran out of runtime, because this isn't scripted. I don't script my videos. Woo! So, yeah, that's all I have to do that said bad about the game. I can dive a little bit deeper into the PvP, because it's very good. I could dive way deeper in the PvP, the PvE. That one I didn't touch on, because the niceness of PvE is that you don't have to worry about getting raided while you're offline. That's kind of one of the only annoying things, but you can turn that off in some servers. But it is kind of like a time-consuming game. Like, you have to constantly be checking, okay, is this fine? And oh my god, I almost forgot about the breeding. One of my favorite parts of this game. That's why people have scripts, so they don't forget things like this. Anyway, I feel that the breeding in this game is so much fun, and it's so worth it. It's so crucial, because you can make more dinos and make them more strong, because there's these things called mutations. I'm not going to go into them too deep, because it's like Pokemon breeding, like IVs and EVs. They're really complicated. Actually, it's basically EVs and IVs. Well, it's basically just IVs going into each stat, mostly. Just making that stat more powerful at the start. You can still level up the stat, because the leveling, unlike Pokemon, it's not like an overall get better. You can upgrade specific stats. And that's one of the biggest parts of the game. Weight, that's a really big part that separates it from most games. It's really realistic on weight. You have a certain amount of weight you can carry. Like, unlike Minecraft, where you can carry, like, the world in your pocket. And oh my god. In, like, those games, you actually have to try to make sense of this game. In the world of video games, one of the hardest things to do is to make your game amazing and well thought out. And this breeding, you can make it so good, and you can make it so then you control who wins. Because mutations do a lot. You can get, like, speed mutations, which makes them more faster. You can also get color mutations. But, okay, stop over-explaining things. That could be in a different video. If you want me to explain mutations, tell me in the comments. But, if you guys want me to talk about those, then tell me in the comments below, please. Please. But, yeah, anyway, that's going to conclude for this review. I would give it a 6 out of 10. Okay. I might be a little bit exaggerating, but that online. But if they fix the online, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Basically my best score. Because I don't think any game is perfect. I will never give a game out of 10 out of 10. Because I think that's too strong of an opinion to have on any type of game. So when I give it a 9 out of 10, I think it's one of the best games. Really good. Because I don't think giving a 10 out of 10 to most things. There's only a couple games I could give a 10 out of 10 where I see no flaws with it. Probably only one. And that's probably Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because that's one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one. And like and subscribe if you want to help support me. And as always, You the best. See you later, guys.
Champion.